Good morning, all. Okay, so we started with a question already. So show of hands, who's scared of AI? Who's scared they're going to take our jobs? Show of hands, who's excited? Okay, so about 50-50. We're going to play a video.
What is the difference between AGI and ASI? To those of us born of a different generation.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Yeah, AGI definition is same level as a human brain. That's AGI, artificial general intelligence. But people have a different point of view definition of artificial super intelligence. How super? 10 times super or 100 times super? My definition of ASI is 10,000 times super, smarter than human brain. That's my definition of ASI, and that's coming in 2035. 10 years from today. 10,000 times smarter. That's my prediction.
Wow, so 10,000 times smarter in 10 years' time. Show of hands, who's even more scared now? I'm certainly scared. I'm going to lose my job probably because of this. But what can we do about it? So today, me and Stu are going to talk about how AI and automation change in our workforce for better. And we're going to talk about our story and vision, so the Hoshin Kanri. Some of you might be familiar with that, who attended a talk with Matt, Tom, and Alicia yesterday. So you need to have a clear vision. Without that, you can't implement any automation or lean. We're then going to share our journey. So we're quite new to this. We've only been doing it for just under a year, but we've done a lot of things because you have the vision. And finally, we're going to touch upon the cultural change. So what can we do to make the transition easier? So we're not scared, but we're excited. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Stu.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So as Zen just said, we'll start with our vision. So a couple of years ago, we came up with a big document for the company called our Vivid Vision for 2028. And in part of that is our vision for AI and automation. So you create a vision to know where you're going. Like Zen said, the Hoshin, we need to know a direction for our for what we're doing with automation and AI. So our vision says that we have robots found throughout the factory, taking out all of the unnecessary and repetitive work from tasks. So they're doing tasks like welding, they're delivering the parts to the lines, they're doing the assembly. We also then use AI data to analyze our data, plan our work, respond to customer queries, and locate our documents more easily, allowing us to provide the best customer service that we can. So we sum this up, as Oliver touched on last night, as our alien dreadnought factory, because we believe that it's going to be so out of this world, we need to set the bar really high. Like, it's going to look like nothing we know at all, and our factory is going to look completely different from this. So it's going to be a factory that embraces AI and automation to produce the most accurate and reliable measurement solutions for flow, level, pressure, and temperature, because that's what we make at Rototherm. However, the starting point is here, okay, where we come up with a vision. This is where we started. We got no robots, okay? We have very little digital automation, okay? We did some stuff with Stream Decks, thanks to Ryan and the team at Seating Matters to give us the idea for that through their videos. So we had some Stream Decks, but that was pretty much it. Our data capture, well, we started capturing data on whiteboards, and that was only because, obviously, we started working with Toyota, and Kenny Barlow, our coach, had drilled into us facts and data. Where's your data? Where is it? So we started capturing it, but it's all on whiteboards. And for AI runs on data, and it needs to be on a computer, not a whiteboard, for the AI to be able to use it. But we did have something which we found very useful, which is our lean culture that we had, that Oliver's been developing through the company, that we built throughout the company, which we sum up in our Roto system here, which, you might recognize it. It's inspired by Toyota, like so much we do. I know inspired is the polite way to say we copied it, but, and what we noticed when we started thinking about AI and automation was actually how a lot of the lean aspects fit in with AI and automation, the way you need to think. So you've got continuous improvement, okay? Continuous improvement. AI and automation is seen as an improvement to our processes, an improvement to what we do. It's also a way people can improve as well, because they need to learn about it. We need to work out how we're going to put it in, implement it, okay? Standardized work. This is the big one when you're automating AI, doing stuff with automation and AI, okay? So I'm sure Tom and Toyota will be happy that we're mentioning standardized work, because it's their big thing. So standardized work, as you know, when you standardize a process, you create a nice set of instructions for your team member to follow, so they produce the same result every time they do it, and you get the same quality. It's all clear, nice and clear, they know what they're doing. Guess what else works really well when it has a clear set of instructions to follow? Anyone? AI, computers, right? Because that's what you're doing. When you program a computer, you're just giving it a set of instructions. So there you are, you have your Gemba doc, you have your nice set of instructions to tell your AI or use on your automation script, whatever it is you want to do. It's there, already done. And then the last one I want to talk about there on this is respect for people. At the bottom there is, when you create a culture of respect, your team members are happy to raise their concerns. You create that environment where they can raise their concerns. Because, everyone's always worried about their jobs. As soon as you talk about AI and automation, everyone's worried, oh, you're going to replace me. It's like, so that they can raise that concern. You also, we're giving them the vision. The vision is communicated down from the top all the way through the business. So they know that we're going this way. We need to do this with AI and automation. So we communicate with them, respect them, and say, look, we're doing this because this is coming in. It's not going away. And not only that, then, you work with the team member on the process that you're automating as well. So you're bringing in their expertise and their knowledge. You're not just doing it in an office on your own. You have to get them involved on that one. So that's just a bit of background and our vision there. So Zen is now going to start talking about our journey. But just before, I just want to ask a quick question. How many of you have started a journey on AI and automation already? So there's a few of you. Nice one. Okay, Zen.
Thanks, Stu. So, the journey. I started Rototherm 2 years ago. And like Stu said, we didn't have a single dashboard. Everything was pen and paper. So it's not a difficult task. In 2 years, we've achieved a lot. But the first thing that we've done is we applied our lean knowledge and the Roto house system that we stole with pride from Toyota, and we created something that we call the automation house, or the automation system. So the foundation now is we got our lean culture, that's the foundation, culture and people. You then apply the lean thinking. Without applying lean or Kaizen to whatever you're going to automate, you're just going to create more waste. So you don't apply Kaizen, you don't remove the waste, you'll be automating waste. Why would you do that? That's a waste of time, waste of money, an absolutely pointless task. From that, we have 3 pillars. This helps us to group how we automate things. So we have physical automation, robots, cobots. They are the fun things because you actually visually can see them. AI, we're going to give you a little presentation of demo of our AI agents or our AI employees. So like Paul in a previous talk, he mentioned about using them to give you access to data, read data, etc. Final column, data ops. So that's all your data capture, shop floor analysis of your data, emails, reading through the emails, etc. And all of that sits the roof, the alien dreadnought. I absolutely love it. Oliver, our MD, his favorite slogan for the last year, alien dreadnought. Sounds quirky, but it gets stuck in your head. And everything is held by data integrity. Again, without clean data, without facts and data, same with people, you can't make any decisions, and you'll be automating more waste. So I'm going to talk about Dan the welder and his journey with automation. So Dan started similar time with me about 2 years ago. And Dan used to come in quite depressed every day. He would constantly have to weld, there's fumes, his dirty manual labor job. Well, Dan the welder is not actually Dan the welder. We gave Dan the power, and this is where your lean culture comes in. He's on the Gemba. We gave Dan the power to go and select the best tool for his job. So Dan went out, bought this robotic welder. Dan is no longer Dan the welder. Dan is now the computer expert programmer of the robot. So his job has been upskilled. Dan is not scared of losing job to AI and automation. Dan has upskilled his job. Over to Stu to talk about Heather.
Yeah, so next, we've got Heather, who's our lovely head of people. Now, she has a lot on her plate, being the head of HR. She gets a lot of inquiries from people coming up to the office. She's also got a lot of deadlines. I don't know if anyone here is in HR, but obviously, payroll is quite an important deadline that you must get done. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of angry people in your company. Okay, one of the problems she has is people will come and ask her questions quite often. Now, what happened in that case is you've got a team member on the factory floor. They're going to stop what they're doing, walk all the way up to the office, which is in another part of the building, come and ask Heather, to see Heather. She has to stop what she's doing. They then ask the question, she answers it, fine. They walk back, she goes back to what she's doing. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of waste in that process, and also it disrupts Heather's flow as well. So she has to then, take the time to get back to what she was doing. Now, earlier this year, we went on an AI course with another company. They kindly let us join their course. And in that course, we learned how we could create our own agents for AI. So we could learn your own agents. You give it your data, and so you create your own bespoke version of like ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever you use. So that's what we did for Heather. We used Copilot and Rototherm. We decided on that one because we used Microsoft. We used Microsoft 365. So we created our own Copilot agent using our handbook. So we trained it on the handbook. Heather had a list of FAQs, because that's what she was doing previously, was making a list of all the frequent questions she was getting. So we put that in as well. So now what can happen, because it's Microsoft and we use Teams, we integrated with Teams as well. So now what can happen is the team member can ask the chatbot in Teams the question, and the chatbot will answer from the handbook, which is great. And also we learned with the prompting that Paul mentioned as well. When you create an agent, you can give it the instructions you want it to follow when someone asks it a question. And so in the prompting, we set it to say, only answer from the handbook, don't make stuff up. So if you don't know the answer, tell them to go and ask Heather. And then what can happen then in a continuous improvement fashion is Heather then can make a note of that question, and then we can re-upload the FAQs with the new questions. If she keeps getting the same question, we can then put it into the AI. So again, we're training that AI all the time. We're improving it all the time and how it works. So moving on, we've got Jade, our business coordinator. She's awesome. So she has to deal with one of our most demanding customers that we have. It's a good thing, because it means they force us to improve, because they have very high standards of on-time delivery and quality, which we do as well. But it's good when you have a customer that holds you to that, and they challenge us all the time on how we can get better. One of Jade's tasks that she has to do, or she had to do, I should say, she doesn't need to do it anymore. She had to do was they send us the PO by email. So nice, regular PO. Every time it's the same information's in the same format, in the same place on the PO. Now, unfortunately, our ERP is a little bit out of date, so it doesn't talk very nicely to things at that point. So Jade would have to go in and copy all the relevant fields out of that PO one by one and paste them into the relevant fields in our ERP system to load the order on the system. Now, I'm sure you can agree with me, that's a very boring job, okay, for a very intelligent young woman. It's rubbish, okay? So that sucks. It also takes a lot of time to do. So you've got a boring job, it takes up a lot of her time. So what we did is we automated it for her. We found a company called Libra Europe, who we worked with on this. They helped us create the connector between Power Automate, because that's what we use in the scripted part to do this. So we use them to help us make a connector to our ERP system. So now Power Automate can talk to our ERP. And then we got the Power Automate flow then looks at the mailbox, it sees the PO coming in, it then automatically finds the information, copies it out, and fills in the fields all automatically, creates the order on the system with all the lines, all the information like the PO number, the customer serial number, the part number, all of that information is already in the order, already loaded. So Jade no longer has to copy and paste. Also, because it's done in the background, it happens at any time. It frees her up to do more value-added work. So an example, on Friday, we had an email from the customer with an order at 5:25 p.m. Okay, I don't know what they're doing at that time. They must work crazy hours. Anyway, in Rototherm, at 5:25 on a Friday, nobody's there. Okay, Jade is long gone. Even Zen's not there. He likes working 24/7, but he's not there. He's probably losing to Matt at squash at that point, because he likes to play squash and lose. So now he's there, okay, at 5:26, okay, that order is loaded on the system. So no intervention at all, that's already on. So Jade can come in on Monday, she come in, the order's already there. Previously, she'd have to come in and then put in that order in the system. So that's the power of automation. You know, we want it to free people up to do it. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to Alfred.
Hi, I'm Alfred, and I joined Rototherm earlier this year as part of a large recruitment drive based around adoption of new technologies, particularly on process automation. I was brought in to help free up one of the team members who was overloaded in the operations team. I've been trained to respond to customer inquiries on email, process new orders, load them into our ERP system, and send out acknowledgement. I'm a quick learner, but I appreciate the training the team give me and the opportunities to learn and grow.
So you just met Alfred. Apologies, it's slightly cut off, but Alfred is actually head of AI. Alfred is one of our employees. As you can see from the cheesy video, it's not real. It's an AI bot. Now I'm getting my laptop ready. Show of hands, who knows why we named him Alfred? Can anybody answer that? Yes, Batman.
Someone said it, yeah.
So all of our butlers, as we call them, or employees, they're named after famous butlers. The reason we do this is to humanize all of our AI agents. If they're human, there's a little bit more interaction with our employees as well. It's a bit of fun. Plus, around the shop floor, they're not talking about, oh, I just spoke to Siri or ChatGPT or whatever. They're saying, oh, Zen, I just spoke to Alfred and he gave me an answer on this. How cool is that? So you get that human interaction. Andy, great job. You already switched. OK, so Alfred is, like Stu said, is trained on our company handbook. He's trained on HSE website, on our sales data, along with other bits and pieces. So one of the most frequently asked questions for Heather, our head of people, who sits at the far end of the factory. So imagine a team member would have to stand up, walk across the entire length of the factory to ask a question such as, what is...
You need to click in the box.
What is our sick leave policy? Sick note. OK, we'll come into it. So we can ask Alfred, and within a split second, it gives you an answer, exactly what the sickness leave policy. What I actually done is done a step ahead, and he gave me a form to fill in, which goes straight to our manager, team leader, to approve it, and then straight to head of people, Heather. So we're eliminating all of the paperwork, all of the sticky notes going through the factory. And this is one of the pillars, so the data ops. We're capturing data in real time, and we're capturing accurate data. Alfred is also connected to our Gemba docs. So we can ask Alfred any of our, I think we were just under the price yesterday.
Yeah, I think we were just under
358 Gemba docs or something that we made. So we can ask Alfred to give us information on how to build product. For example, one of our items here. Now, it's a bit slow because we want to talk about it and exactly what it does. For all of the nerds in the room, I'm sure everybody wants to hear how Alfred works. It's trained in Copilot, and it's linked via an API to Gemba docs on all of our other digital data. It then reads it, and it gives us a summary, which you'll see in a second, breakdown of each single Gemba doc step. So if anything, it's actually improved our Gemba doc procedure because it's summarized it. It'll also, should pop up now. It'll also give us a hyperlink to the actual Gemba doc, so we can open it up and see all the pictures, the videos that we've added. I think, here we go. So this is an 8-step Gemba doc. It gives us a summary, so I don't have to look through every single picture. It's right on my computer. I don't have to search for a Gemba doc. But what's even cooler, it gives me a link straight to the Gemba doc. So you don't have to, again, remove that waste and the little assistant. Can you switch back to the slides, please? Also, can we give a round of applause to the audio and visual guys? Package up, thank you. So we met Alfred, but Alfred has employees and friends. So we're going to look at our cultural change. Can somebody give me an answer? What is the most important asset in your company? People, 100%. 100%. And what do you need for people? You need an organizational chart. So we've got this in-depth chart that shows we've got my name, Stu's name, we've got everybody's name on it. It tells you exactly what we're responsible for. Again, standards. We know exactly what everybody does. But what we've added the automation team. They are not real. So we've got Alfred. Alfred is head of AI. He's got a colleague called Jeffrey. Show of hands where Jeffrey came from. Yes.
Someone knows their buttons over there.
Round of applause for that, because nobody ever answers it. But they also have pets. So we have a giraffe. So Alfred is actually a zookeeper. So Alfred, the overall AI agent, head of AI, so he is the interface. That's who you interact with. Jeffrey is a sales agent. So he's trained on every single product we sell as a company, all of our spec sheets, and importantly, packages. So the sales team can ask Jeffrey, how do I pack this unit and that unit and this unit? And Jeffrey will provide a quotation with a courier. So we're increasing the lead time we're decreasing the lead time in communication between sales and customers. How cool is that? But they also have a pet, giraffe, because it's got a long neck. And what giraffe does, transports material from the warehouse all the way to production line. So in our factory, we don't manually handle any components. So we remove the waste of automation and motion. Again, the lady who got the giraffe, she was scared. She was going to say, oh, well, what am I doing now? I spent last 30 years pushing the trolley. I'm like, why are we paying you to push a trolley? You're going to have a bad back. You're bored. It's a non-value-add task. She loves stock counting. So her job has went from pushing a trolley to being a crucial member in a company, counting stock. And our stock accuracy is now 98%. How cool is that? Stu?
That's me. So the other way it's changed our workforce is they start to see the benefit of AI and automation for them. Because with anything, even with lean or anything you do, a lot of time is people ask, what's in it for me? How is it going to benefit me? So we show them the benefits of AI, and we use it to solve their problems. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're solving their problems. So Heather gets lots of interruptions. Jade's got a lot of boring copy and pasting. Also, I forgot to mention that customer as well. They've increased their orders by 40% this year. So, of course, Jade would have had to have done 40% more copy and pasting just to make it even worse, and it'll take longer. And she doesn't have 40% more time in a day to do it. Then we've got Dan as well. He's welding all day. It's very hard work, welding. I mean, I'm not a welder, I have no idea, but it's very thick. So it's very difficult. So we've done that. We've removed interruptions. We've removed the boring work, and we've upskilled Dan as well on that front. You know, he can program a robot. It was no good me and Zen choosing a robot for welding. We don't know welding, but Dan does, so he can pick the best welding robot for us to use in that area. So that's how AI and automation changed our workforce. But as we know, part of this is inspire, connect, and act. So Zen is going to go through some actions you guys can do for how AI and automation might change your workforce.
So again, like I said, we're quite new to this journey. We technically only started implementing AI 3 months ago, but we've had the vision, we got our automation system, and we wrote down 4 easy bullet points for you guys to take away from this breakout session so you can go and work on it. So the first one is, act now, don't wait for tomorrow. You've heard the video at the beginning. In 10 years' time, it's going to be 10,000 times smarter. So act now. It's not a difficult thing. You mentioned Paul from Cocoon earlier saying it's not a difficult thing to learn Power Automate. You can automate your emails. I got an automated flow for my emails. If purchasing emails me, it goes, looks for a particular keyword, replies automatically. Saves me time. Invest in your people. Upskill your people. You, all as leaders, as managers, will fail your workforce if you don't upskill them. So AI and automation is not coming, it's already here. If you don't upskill and train your staff, they're not going to survive. think lean. What I mentioned about do a Kaizen event before you automate. Think lean. Otherwise, you'll be automating waste, so you'll create more waste. And finally, build a culture of continuous learning, so we can automate the automation on top of that. Now, it looks quite difficult, but we're all here on the Gemba Summit, so we should have a continuous improvement culture already. Mm-hmm. We're already thinking about lean. I hope you all invest in our people. So the only thing you have to do when you go back to your offices tomorrow is to act now. Just start learning. So you don't have to do 4 things, you only have to do 1 thing.
Yeah, so to pick up on the point about investing in people that Zen made, failing to invest in AI and automation today means failing our workforce tomorrow. The future belongs to those who upskill through technology. If you don't invest in AI and automation, are you really investing in your people? Are you really giving them the chance to work in the workplace of tomorrow, in the future factory or the future wherever it is you guys work? They're in danger of being left behind. Paul had his quote about, AI might not take your job, but someone who's embraced AI might, okay? So to remind you of that. And also, if you want AI and automation to transform your workforce, then make AI and automation about the people. That's how it transforms your workforce. So thank you, everyone, for listening and coming. Have you got any questions?